Hello and welcome to my performance review, where I'll be reviewing the motorbikes within my collection so you as the general rider can get an appreciation of what each bike feels like to ride and the good and bad points about each motorbike. So here we have the Italian 2003 Aprilia RSV1000, also known as the Millie. So the first thing you'll notice about this bike is its overall size. Really dominates my collection, but even though it's such a large bike, it still only weighs in at 109 kilos, which is quite manageable for the smaller rider like myself. Very nice bike to look at. The front of it I'm not overly fussed on, but the rear, I think the tail lights and the rear section really looks quite nice. Performance wise, we have Brembo brakes front and rear, and also adjustable suspension front and rear. The dash, in my opinion, is very retro. It's quite simplistic, but it's actually very sophisticated. Has a lot of features integrated with it. It has a shift light, as you can see there on the rev counter where it says max, and that's programmable as well. As well as having it has a lap timer and also top speed, so there is a little bit of sophistication there. So I've just jumped off the Aprilia RSV1000 after taking it for a ride, and I am buzzing. I had such a good time riding this bike. The amount of torque that comes as you come out of the corner, you just bring on that throttle, and it almost doesn't matter what gear you're in. If you get the gear change wrong going into the corner, doesn't matter, just bring on the throttle and up she'll go. Coming into the corners, I was braking pretty heavily, but also the engine braking really helps there as well. So even though the bike looks big and feels big while you're sitting on it, once you're away riding, it's easy to forget that you're on such a big bike, apart from the power, of course. It's comfortable, got a really nice riding position, it's got loads of torque, and it's also very practical. It's great around town, and it's beautiful on the open road. I've been using this bike around town a fair bit, and I've also had it on the open road, and in both scenarios I've really enjoyed riding the bike. So it's a really good all-round road bike. The engine is a 60-degree V-twin. The angle has been increased from previous models, which means that the engine can be moved forward more to put more weight over the front wheel, and this really complements the power delivery. So even the nervous rider can really bring that throttle on hard without lifting the front wheel, which is a big deal. For me, I do not like lifting the front wheel because that means I'm not in control. But I also really like bringing the throttle on hard, even in the lower gears, because that torque and that power for me is really addictive. So this has a really nice delivery of power. I can bring it on hard in any gear, knowing I'm not going to lift the front wheel as long as I keep a little bit of weight over it. And yeah, I really like that about this bike. I haven't had it on the track. I'm used to riding 600s, and the idea of riding 1000 on the track really doesn't appeal to me. But this bike I think would be really fun on the track. It's nice to ride, comfortable. I feel confident on it, so riding at the track I don't think would be a problem. One thing I would not like to do though is ride this bike in the wet. You bring that throttle on too hard and you're going to be in trouble.